thereby stimulating economic growth and development in an unprecedented manner.
We have nothing to regret. Absolutely nothing. Let us keep on praying to God that He should put people of conscience in charge at all levels.
The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Hamid Ali, who led members of the organization, told President Buhari that majority of Nigerians are passionate about a second term for him because of his integrity, honesty, and selflessness in service to the nation.
I think every Nigerian that has a brain to understand knows that your being president has changed the direction and the course of this country. Therefore, for those of us who know you, for those of us who love you for what you are, it is not a choice for us, but a must that we must follow and push through and ensure that your second term in this country becomes a reality.
We are ready to return to the trenches, blazing the campaign trail once again, all because of your integrity.
The Buhari Support Organization is a non-governmental, voluntary, and non-profit making organization formed with the objective of championing the campaign activities of President Muhammadu Buhari before the 2015 elections. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on the network servers. We'll take a short break now. The news returns presently.
Women can never ever be separated from two things, clothes and colors, and that is why on Visual Impressions both are going to be showcased. I came across Kokab Farouk, a Pakistani fashion designer and a painter. She has conveniently merged her design line with her paintings. In other words, if you wear a Kokab kaftan top, automatically you become a walking canvas. Sounds like fun, right? Okay, it's the program Visual Impressions on NTA. Thank you for joining me. I am Omar Mohammed. You just sit back and take a look at these clips. Combination of silk, chiffon and originality makes up this simple kaftan collection of Kokab's fashion line. A Pakistani fashion designer who has lived in Nigeria for the past 16 years, her environment has had tremendous influence on her work.
Spring. And this is my painting also, I keep it here. It representing the same idea that if you will come out from your tree, this is the roots, if you will be broken from your tree, you will be black and white. But the spring will not come to you again. Even if it is a tree in the autumn season, you have to be staying with your roots. So all my dresses, I have attached them with my roots. I buy the material from there, I do everything there. The table is from there, everything is there. But you will see shirts and scarves. Most of them are attached with my roots. So that is the main idea of the exhibition, that to promote Nigerian things, Nigerian training, and doing something unique. It's wonderful. Anything like this in Abuja before. Definitely a classic flowing collection,
amazingly talented. I've never seen a more talented person than Professor. To be multitasking like that, to be able to paint, get the dresses stitched, and be able to bake beautiful, beautiful cakes. I personally tried her cakes many times. So
the President directed ministries, departments and agencies to fully drive the change agenda in the public sector, saying henceforth mediocrity will no longer be tolerated.
We want to build Nigeria into a competitive, agile, strong and productive economy.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari is urging Nigerians to remain vigilant and ensure that only people of conscience are allowed to take charge of governance at all levels as the nation prepares for 2019 elections. Receiving members of the Buhari Support Organization on a solidarity visit, the President was emphatic that those who mismanaged Nigeria's economy through fraudulent power projects and misuse of revenue earnings from oil cannot talk about love for the country.
Let us keep on praying to God that He should put people of conscience in charge at all levels.
And in another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has granted audience to a delegation of the Nigerian Senate where issues relating to the executive-legislature relations, good governance and effective service delivery were discussed. State House correspondent to Don Musambo reports that the visit, which was at the instance of the Senate, followed the resolution by the lawmakers to interface with the President on some issues critical to the sustenance of democracy in the country. Senate leader Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan led the team, which also comprises the minority leader, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Senator Lawan spoke to newsmen after the meeting, which lasted over 1 hour behind closed doors.
Mr. President is the leader of this country and is the leader of the administration. And therefore, when any arm of government has issues that it requires to inform the President and maybe engage him, this is where to come. And we have held a meeting with Mr. President on the shortest request to see him. We are very glad for that, and we have bared our minds on the issues that we think, when tackled properly, would enhance our relationship and the cordiality that we all require for this administration to continue to succeed. And that is not to say that there is animosity. Actually, we need to sometimes smoothen the issue so that we all be on the same page, and that's what we have done.
But the IGP can raise.
The issues are beyond the IGP Senate affair. We have so many other issues that border on ensuring that we work better with the executive arm of government. So the IGP was just one of those issues that were discussed, and he has taken note and he will take appropriate action.
And those are the updates for now. There'll be more at 1. Join me then.
Service of the NTA.
To join you weekly on Sideline Timeout in Nigeria. I am Aditi Akinkalu, thanking you for staying true. Our platter on the show today will take us through a lot, ranging from our movie of the week, start to watch, the entertainment gist, and of course our exclusive guest corner. Let's get started with our movie of the week.
Our movie of the week is a story which explores the effects of the media on different strata of the society. A 2017 feature drama film, OAP follows the story of a charismatic, suave and intelligent on-air personality in Lagos who believes he should always stand for the truth. This movie parades a cast of VJ Adams Ibrahim, veteran actor Anta Laniyo, Frank Donga, Yewande Lawal, Rotimi Salami, Liko Rose, Joy Nice, Adebayo Gundele, Kennedy Adetayo, and several others. It also features a cameo appearance by radio host Badia Il Rhymes. OAP, which is produced and directed by Kwam Ololade Balogun, looks at the life of Olaoluko. That's a question he came across in a magazine on his radio show and got more than he bargained for. With Chief Gyan and Chief Smith, very rich and insane gamblers, being aware of the intriguing question with the deadline attached to it, placing a big bet, as well as Sikiru and Lillian, who both live in the ghetto, also searching for the answer because they want to win the prize money.
The performers of Africa. Answers to the questions you raised on your radio program today. Our staffs are dedicated to the truth and best. Stop talking! Young guy, let me share big tacky shitty kid. Should I bump to the wasn't?
So much goes into the production and distribution of the works from the Nigerian motion picture industry, and effort of major players in this multi-million naira industry cannot be overemphasized. Let us meet one of such people involved in ensuring the chain of production on our exclusive guest segment.
Our exclusive guest this week is an actor, presenter, model, blogger, and
we need to project who we actually are. So we can start from how we are seen, and how when people can see you is your culture, your fashion, your dressing, your cuisine. So let's start from somewhere.
If given the standards that it should deserve, that it should get, I think anyone who is in other kind of industry can also have in this industry, because it's viable for business, it is viable for promotion, it is viable for branding, and it is also viable for PR.
Aimed at attracting investments and promoting tourism for Nigeria, the 2018 Nigeria Creative Arts Exchange is expected to be a platform for the expansion of Nigeria's economic and bilateral relations with France. The event will bring more light on Nigeria's rich creativity, with a view to enabling the French business and traveling public to better understand the tremendous opportunities that abound in Nigeria.
A half hour of fun and excitement, I believe it's been for us all on the show today, and this is where we call it a wrap. Let's do this again same time next week. I am Aditeke Akinkwelu. Bye.
NTA2Lagos Network Center.
with trending musicals, refreshing videos from up-and-coming entertainers. Keep updated with us every Friday at 7:30 p.m. and a repeat broadcast on Tuesday at 6 a.m. on your reach-out station, NTA2Lagos. Tomorrow's Dance, defining the musical trends of the future. Every episode is a must-watch.
The glorious month of Ramadan is here, and the Muslim community of the NTA2Lagos Network Center invites you to this year's Yusuf Gibbo Ramadan lecture. Date 14th Ramadan, 14:39 AH. Time 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Venue NTA2Lagos Network Center premises, Tradition House at Madubelu Way.
This is the network service of the NTA.
On matters of national importance, Senator Oluremi Tinubu called for precautionary measures against possible infection of Ebola virus in the country as outbreak is being...
Mr. President, Senator Sabo Mohammed is in Jigawa to receive the President, who is on a state visit to Jigawa. In his absence, Senator Yusuf A. Yusuf, who is a member of the committee, will present the report.
Senator Yusuf. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this is the report on a bill for an act to amend the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990, Cap C20 LFN 2004, to provide for the incorporation of companies, registration of business names, together with incorporation of trustees of certain communities, bodies, associations, and incidental matters, SB 355, and a bill for the establishment of State Corporate Affairs Commission for registration of business names and for other matters connected therewith. Senator Samegu.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Sam Egu, I represent Ebonyi North Federal District. Mr. President, I rise to second that the Senate do consider the report of the Committee on Trade and Investment and the Companies and Allied Matters as Cap C20 LFN 2004 Bill 2018. I so second.
Senator Yusuf.
I'll start with the introductions on page 1. The Senate at its plenary sitting on Wednesday, 1st March 2018, deliberated on the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990, Cap C20 LFN 2004 2018-384, and a bill for an act of this distinguished Senate. Number 1. Single-member companies. This is the first time a provision such as this has been introduced in Nigeria. The provision makes it possible for a single person to form a private company. This provision is consistent with what is obtainable in several other progressive economies, such as the United Kingdom, India, and Singapore. Number 2, limited liability partnerships. A new form of legal entity known as limited liability partnership was introduced in this bill. The essential feature of a limited liability partnership is that it combines the organizational flexibility and tax status of a partnership with limited liability for its members. Number 3, financial assistance. With this provision, companies will now be permitted to provide financial assistance to their shareholders. The current position is that a company and its subsidiaries are prohibited from giving gifts, loans, indemnities, credit, and other assistance for the purpose of aiding a person to purchase the company's shares, where such financial assistance will result in a reduction in the net assets of the company or result in the company having no assets. The proposed bill reflects a market-friendly advancement from the current position. It also provides companies chances of attracting much-needed investment, since there are now provisions in the bill which enable the shareholders or potential shareholders have access to funds within the certain parameters, which in turn enable them invest in such companies. Number 4, reduction in the share capital. This has been introduced to ease the process of doing business by a process through which a company can reduce its share capital by enabling private companies to reduce share capital of such companies if a special resolution to that effect is passed, without the added burden of applying to court for a confirmation of the reduction. Number 5, resolving insolvency. The bill introduces a company rescue and insolvency legal regime, which is not focused on a company's demise, but on rescuing companies from insolvency through inclusion of an insolvency framework. An effective insolvency regime in Nigeria has a dual aim, such as to save viable businesses and to ensure that non-viable businesses can quickly exit the market, allowing deployment of assets to more productive firms. It will see to the following benefits, such as lower cost of credit, increased access and availability of credit, improved creditor recovery,
strengthen the superfluous, and really will cause great confusion in the business climate. So I think either this is completely removed or a provision made so that you can actually guide against this eminent confusion that may arise from the way that these business names will be used in doing business in the country. I so submit, sir.
The issues that have been raised by Senator Alasadura, have really ringed an alarm to me.
Colleagues, I rise to move for the approvals of votes and proceedings of the Senate of the Federal Republic.
This is the Nigerian Television Authority, now reaching you live from the floor of the Senate for Wednesday's plenary. When earlier the Senate had gone into an executive session, and then now the executive session has now been declared open, and then the Senate President had explained that the senators actually were discussing on the workings of the National Assembly and the Senate in particular. At the meantime, the Senate has now commenced the consideration of items on the order prepared for the day's plenary. It is expected actually that the Senate will be receiving an executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari on the confirmation of nominations for persons as non-executive directors of boards of Central Bank of Nigeria. And then the Senate will also be considering 14 bills, and then other issues that can come up, like in the tradition of the Senate, matters of urgent public importance must still be attended as well. For now, let's now leave you to follow the proceedings with Wednesday's plenary.
Joshua Lidani. Petitions? Yes, Senator Machurugidi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Matthew Urugide, I represent the good people of Edo South Senatorial District. Mr. President, I have 3 petitions coming from members of my constituency. The first one is from Mr. Igbenedion Omori Peter, who is alleging unlawful termination of his appointment with First Bank. I have another one, Mr. President, that is coming from one Oboite Kingsley, who is who is complaining of unlawful termination of appointment with the Nigerian police. And then of course another one is coming from Mrs. Leroy Abedo, who is alleging that the police have refused to pay the husband gratuity since he passed in 2012. Mr. President, all these petitions are asking for remediation and then of course asking for justice to be done. All three petitions are not encumbered by any legal process, any law court.
Yes, come and lead the petition. Petition referred to Ethics and Privileges Committee report back in 2 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Magnus Abe on the Federal University of Environment, Science and Agriculture, Ogoni, River State Establishment, etc. in 2018. Mr. President, we wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University of Environment, Science and Agriculture, Ogoni, River State Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, SB 680, first reading.
Federal University of Environment, Science and Agriculture, Ogoni, River State, Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, SB 680, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is a motion requesting the Senate to consider the request of Mr. President CNC for the confirmation of the nomination of the following persons for appointment as non-executive directors of the Board of Central Bank of Nigeria in accordance with the Section 6, Subsection 1D, 10, Subsection 1 and 2 of the CBN Act 2007. The names are 1. Professor Umo Ahmed Jalingo, Northeast. 2. Professor Justina Odinaka Chukwu Umbako, Southeast. 3. Professor Mike I. Obadan, South-South. 4. Dr. Abdul Abubakar, Northwest. And 5.
Of the motion say aye. Those against? Yes, everything.
differences in the bill as passed by both houses for further legislative action. Highlights of the bill and the differences were the title of the bill, and in consideration of the differences, title of the bill, the House version was adopted. This is because it is simpler. Clause 2, the House version split into two the functions and objectives as clearly stated in the bill, so the House version was adopted for that reason. Clause 3, for the purpose of clarity and reference with regards to membership, Clause 3 in the Senate version is named Clause 2 in the House version, with more emphasis on membership. Therefore, the House version was equally adopted. Clause 4.3, the constitution of the Governing Council. The Senate version omitted the second Vice President. Therefore, the House version was adopted. 5.5, Clause 6, the Senate version, Clause 6.1 is renamed Clause 5.1 in the House version and is more elaborate.
The result of this low-level illiteracy is avoidable non-access is that it claims lives and properties. Mr. President, the distinguished colleagues further worried that some drivers, it is even a challenge to identify the various vehicle particulars assigned to their vehicles. This has given rise to forgery and fake documentation of car particulars such as insurance, as most drivers are assigned to task of obtaining and renewing these particulars as and when due. Further note that the high rate of road accident caused by motorcycle, popularly known Okada, is something to be noted. The use of Okada has become such a menace that some of these cities in the country have gone ahead to place a ban of this means of transportation because it is more troublesome than it is worse. It's apparent to note that the Okada drivers and other security and children, most of them are children less than 18 of age, and most of them they have little or no education. With little or no education and education to understand the road sign and application. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, you should be aware that even though employers would normally ask for the basic qualification drivers, there is no due diligence to ensure that they have obtained this qualification. The thoroughness and details of the applied consistence of this type of employment is usually absent when the employer of the drivers. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, resolve that 1. Urge the Senate to direct the Committee on Transportation to summon the heads of agency of the government establishment and other stakeholders responsible for safety of road accident to consider the following. 1. Drivers to be employed in any capacity at all must at least be able to read and write, and of course communicate effectively with minimum qualification of primary school certificate, preparable secondary school education. 2. Driver's school should be made more mandatory and established at least every state with short-term courses and certification obtained at the end of the course. This will state on where away literacy out of roads. C. There should be an age limit for persons who obtain driver's licenses in the country. D. Also, the agency and government establishment that are responsible for the insurance must have licenses that will be used as and when. Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, I will urge to say that Nigeria should start observance the drivers' day annually because we are really having a lot of problems. Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, these drivers, most of them, they have no driving license, too young to drive or too old, no good sight. Some drivers even are drunk. As the vehicles in particular, you find that the vehicles are not roadworthy, no good tires, no brakes. In most cases, they are uninsured. So, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, we cannot keep mute to see this happening while we're here. We cannot close our eyes to see that happening. My distinguished colleague, we cannot even fold our arms. We should take action to transfer this to the ISO service, sir.
Senator Arisa Abdul.
Apart from the fact that when you look at the volume of vehicles on our roads, of our national assets is actually on the road. Vehicles moving with very precious articles of goods and trade, and above all, human beings whose life cannot be quantified. And I think day in, day out, we get report of accidents where a whole family will perish, not because of the fault of perhaps the driver who is driving that particular
speed is below 100 kilometers an hour. They talked about huge sums of investment in that business and nothing was done. Rather, they reduced the whole business of control of traffic to building road bumps on the road so that people cannot go fast. Of course, after you jump on one rump, you can then speed up again and overspeed as you like. This is not the way to manage traffic. It is necessary that the issuance of licenses for drivers, at which time it was even a tug of war between which agency will issue it. Is it the road safety, or is it the vehicle inspection group, or is it licensing office? I think we need to overhaul the whole of this business. And I think part of this prayers, of this motion, should be a reference to the Transport Committee to actually engage the Federal Road Safety and all other agencies responsible for traffic management to deal with this subject holistically and ensure that not only do you reduce or remove illiterate drivers, but make sure that those who are even literate know what traffic rules mean and they obey them when they drive. Licensees must also be tested. They must pass the test on road signs interpretations.
On transport to summon the government establishments and other stakeholders responsible for safety on our roads to ensure that drivers employed in any capacity at all must possess the necessary qualification in addition to being able to read, write, and communicate effectively in English language, and must also be able to have been tested on road signs interpretation. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, make driving schools mandatory by establishing same in every state with short-term courses for every prospective driver. Ensure the enforcement of age limit for persons designed to obtain driver's license in the country. Those in favor of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Distinguished colleagues, let me thank Senator Kofi for his motion. I think the key issue here is for the relevant Federal Safety Corps and vehicle inspection officers to do the right thing and ensure that, again, we fight corruption here. Licenses must be obtained by going through the normal test that is required. And I think what we're seeing now is that it is a corruption and not following due process. The net effect of it is that people are losing lives. So people must see that their responsibility in ensuring that people go through the right process is so important, because our lives are lost when we have drivers that are not capable or do not have the necessary qualifications. So the challenge really is to those that are responsible for this, and our Committee on Transport should provide their oversight and ensure that road safety and vehicle inspection officers carry out necessary work.
I don't comot my hand from oil bunkering. General, what you going to yarn? What did the yarn say? I don't understand though. Because they spoil our water and our environment. And they cause our people serious harm. Militants said, you know good. Me, I not do against Sam. Because why? Change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
How to make a sculpture piece. You get your clay, it has to be processed and well kneaded. Prevent it from drying by putting it in a plastic bag. Then get a base. Bases are essential because you need to sculpt on a surface that can make the work easy to move. A spatula, a piece of broom to etch and make details. Now, one good thing about art is everything could be used as a material. Let's sculpt.
Prominent personalities, among whom are the First Lady of Ogun State, representative of the First Lady of Lagos State, and a host of others who lent their voice in support to this noble cause.
We should be able to inculcate in the children what's the values and significance that will make our children to be leaders of tomorrow. We know our dependence is just too much, so they need to be trained, to be monitored. Our children should be our best friends, we should point them nearer to us, and so that they can be leaders of tomorrow. Realize the deficit of the children. If we don't have the ability to raise children of values, family values is it is about the foundation. Because whenever you look into any society, if you find a dysfunction in family, it's going to spread to the nation.
The 2018 edition of the National Conference, which was the 9th in the series, had 3 main objectives. They are how to deal with the issues of substance abuse and addiction, purposeful parenting, as well as tips on how to discipline and raise morally sound persons.
Don't ignore anything that suddenly becomes different about your child. It could be sexual abuse that is going on, and the child is trying to find a way to tell the body or act the words. Don't ignore that, and don't forget, it is more than prayer. Find a place to take your child so that you can retrace his or her steps to come out of addiction. Please, don't hide.
When you look at your child, what is? If someone asks you, what is the purpose of your child in life? Why did you give birth to this child? You don't even know. Therefore, one of the most important things we must discover about our children is their purpose.
You try with the child to know the how, to have the skill of being fast. So if you want your child out of life, you start telling them why saying the truth is good. You help them. If you want them to work hard, you help them. When they are having very difficult tasks, you are there to give assistance and helping them. But that asks your prefect or your teacher when you assist them.
The high point highlight of the event was the presentation of awards to deserving persons committed to fighting the just cause. One of such recipients was the First Lady of Ogun State, Her Excellency Mrs. Olufunso Amosun, who has been relentlessly lending her voice to this worthy initiative and promises to do more.
As parents have to provide time, quality time. It doesn't have to be extensive, but whatever time it is, has to be quality time. We need to make our children know, to instill the fear of God within our children. And I mean, I believe every individual has the capacity to know what is right from wrong. But when they actually see it practiced, then it impacts better on them.
A very illuminating conference on the very fabric of family and societal peace and happiness. The Clarion Call makes it pertinent for individuals, parents, and government to play a vital role to sanitize the society so as to halt moral decadence.
Audience, memorable social and corporate events. What and where gives your ceremony a touch of class and finesse. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. on NTA2Lagos Network Center.
Special attention should be given to our future leaders. It was glitz and glamour as celebrities, movie makers, and lovers of entertainment gathered for a movie premiere organized by Tolu Olusoga. The title of the movie is Lara and the Beats. Enjoy the highlights.
To tell authentic African stories the way they ought to has again taken the front burner of discourse as celebrity actors, movie makers, and top Nigerian entertainment correspondents from the print, online, and electronic media came together for the unveiling of the official trailer of the soon-to-be-released feature film Lara and the Beats. Produced by Tolu Olusoga from the stables of Biola Alabi Media, the event had in attendance the cast and crew of the movie. Some of them were Sheyi Shey, Vector Ogumefon, popularly called Vector the Viper, Uche Jumbo, Sahib Balogun, Chioma Akpotha, Deyemi Okonlawo, Tony Tones, Chinedu Ikedeze, Kemi Lala Akindoju, and Biola Alabi herself.
Lara, we just don't have anywhere to go.
Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. While my feet are on the ground, When we babies, set me free, set me like this.
Plus, I also produce with BT over here.
Speaking at the event, executive producer Biola Alabi highlighted her personal promise to tell African stories across the world.
Biola Alabi Media is always going to have these type of values in our messages. We want to show different pictures.
Hello and welcome to One on One. I am Cyril Stover. My guest today is an accountant by profession. He had his career in the civil service but later retired to go into full-time politics. Well, he cut his political teeth in the defunct National Party of Nigeria as a young man. But much later, in 2013, he was acting chairman of the CPC. Now that's one of the parties that merged with others to become what is today known as the All Progressives Congress, APC. For now, he is engaged in the Foreign Service. Let's meet Ambassador Hassan Jika Ardo, Nigeria's ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to One on One.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Well, just to mention that Ambassador also has concurrent accreditation to about 5 other countries, Guyana, Grenada, Barbados, Suriname, and the Commonwealth of Dominica. Now, that's quite a handful. How do you cope with that?
Well, ambassadorial appointment is something that needs sacrifice like any other job. And it's not all that difficult, provided that you know what you are doing and what you have gone in for. It is not too difficult, and we are moving on well.
Now, you're Nigeria's, as an ambassador to these countries, you're Nigeria's chief image maker, let me put it that way, because you represent the Federal Republic of Nigeria in those countries, and so they see Nigeria, they see Nigeria through you. What is it you tell those countries?
Well, you see, before now, in the last 3 years, within the Caribbean, there was no ambassador appointed to oversee these countries. And I felt Nigerians were running helpless. And immediately I reported to my mission. I decided to have one-on-one, like what we are having today, personal contact with fellow Nigerians. I have first-hand information of how they feel about the country they are in, the host country, and how they feel about Nigeria. I decided to see how can I bring all Nigerians together, irrespective of your tribe, religion, region, or where you come from. And we've been doing that, and thank God the impact has been felt already across the 6 nations.
Give us an idea of the population of Nigerians in the Caribbean. It's not that Nigerians are the most traveled people on the face of the earth. They go to any part of the world and they're there.
Very well. See, in the Caribbean, not only the countries of concurrent accreditation, there are other islands also attached to Nigeria, St. Kitts, St. Vincent, and other islands. So we have quite a number of Nigerians, but the most populated nation there is the Trinidad and Tobago. That is what led Nigerian government to establish their mission far back in 1973 in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have a population of over 500 Nigerians, mostly professional and doctors that are there, and they are doing fantastic in those countries.
Right, so that's, we could classify that as part of the professional capital flight that we see Nigerians going to such countries. But what is the level of relations between Nigeria and Trinidad and Tobago?
As I earlier mentioned, Nigeria has a long-standing relationship with the Trinidad and Tobago and other Caribbean countries. Far back 1973. I think it's one of the oldest nations that Nigeria has because of the long-standing relationship. And right from the onset, I started the healing process. And if you look at it now, things are going down gradually. And what he did was, first of all, you have to provide security, because security is the bedrock of every development on this earth. Without security, you will never have peace. Without peace, you will never have development. So first of all is to address the security aspect. And if you look at it from the assumption of office, President Muhammad Buhari decided we have to tackle the security. If you look at the crisis we have in the Northeast, the Boko Haram infusion, and we as indigenous of Taraba State, we try to preach to our fellow brothers across the state the need for us to live in peace, given what has happened from